Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Joao Felix and his salary, then talk about Barcelona's left back position because we do have a few new names rising to the table. Let's get started, right? Let's talk about Joao Felix first. And it says here, according to Catalan Radio, that Joao Felix's salary will soon increase to 4 million gross from 400k. Barcelona and the player previously agreed on this increase once the finances did allow it. Barcelona also believe the player is worthy of the raise due to what he has brought to the team. Now, here's going to be a very big question regarding this. Does Joao Felix deserve this raise? Now, whether he did not get or get this raise, even at 4 million euros a year, that is still a very, very low wage for any player. And we also knew that the 400,000 euros a year, that type of salary was very temporary. We just did not know that it could increase in the middle of the season. But like I've said, the 4 million euros a year, that is very low. And he will certainly earn lower than what he earned at Chelsea and at Atletico Madrid, where he was earning around 12 million, 13 million euros a season. So to me, overall, this raise does seem very reasonable for FC Barcelona to do because Joao Felix brings in goals. He's very dynamic in the front three. He's a real threat, and most importantly, he doesn't bring like any attitude problems, because we did talk about this before on how Joao Felix could bring in attitude problems because sometimes he doesn't look like he wants to play, sometimes he gets angry, sometimes he commits very silly fouls and stuff of that nature. But he's not doing any of that under Xavi Hernandez, and that's very important because I see a player here that is willing to listen, is willing to give his absolute best, to give out what he should be giving out and what is demanded by Xavi. So he did start off very fast in the beginning of his career at Barcelona. In his first game, he did not provide a goal or an assist, but that is because that was his first game and he only played about 20 minutes against Osasuna. Then fast forwarding towards Barcelona versus Real Betis, where Barcelona won 5-0, Joao Felix was able to participate in one goal, and we knew that he was going to be special. The next match, Barcelona played against Antwerp, where they also won 5-0, and he scored 2 goals and provided 1 assist. In the next game between Barcelona and Celta Vigo, Barcelona won 3-2, and he provided 1 assist. So he had a very good start at the club, and that is why we're hearing today that yes, the raise of Joao Felix's salary is going to be coming much sooner rather than later. Now, in the following 3 matches after the match between Barcelona and Celta, which was against Mallorca, Sevilla, and Porto, he did not provide any goals or an assist, but he was very involved in the attack of whatever Barcelona were doing on the pitch. And then in the next game against Granada, which was our most previous match, he did provide 1 assist, and he was very important to Barcelona getting that 1 point against Granada, because we could have lost that match. He was the player that was being fouled a lot just inside and outside the box, and you can just tell that Joao Felix was waiting to get hit in order for Barcelona to get some sort of advantage and put as many goals in. And here's what's the most important. I don't see Joao Felix as a Antoine Griezmann type of player, meaning that even though we see Felix scoring a lot of goals and providing a lot of assists for Barcelona, we still see him very active on the pitch, being very involved with all of the attacking play. With Antoine Griezmann, we did not see that. We saw him score a couple of goals, we saw him provide a couple of assists, but besides that, outside of those goals and assists, we barely saw him touch the ball. But with Joao Felix, he touches the ball a lot because he is very involved. He's a protagonist to Barcelona's attack, and that's very important. So going on to the summer of 2024, we'll see how Barcelona reinforce the left wing position, because Joao Felix is part of that conversation, but there's a lot of what ifs, right? And there's a lot of things that Barcelona have to think about. Like, for example, do they want to bring back Ansu Fati back into the club? What if they consider a player like Rafael Leao to reinforce the left wing position? What if they want Joao Felix and sign him on a permanent deal? How are they going to be paying 65 to 75 to maybe even 85 million euros for Joao Felix? And if they do that, is all of their funds going to go into that one player? And that would also mean that we can't really invest heavily on other positions, because I know that Barcelona do need to invest heavily on other positions. And so could that be a problem that might not allow Felix to continue at the club, is because they say we cannot afford 85 to 95 million euros for Joao Felix, because Atletico Madrid are not going to want to negotiate easy with the club. Historically, they have never really done that. They don't do Barcelona any favors. So speaking about reinforcing other positions, now I do want to move on towards the next conversation, and that is going to be the left back position. Now, let me give you guys some context. There has been a report about Barcelona wanting to strengthen their left back and right back position, right? They're very well aware of the problem that is going on at the club, because Alejandro Balde doesn't really have competition on that side. Joao Cancelo also doesn't really have competition on that other side, even though I know that Jules Koundé does exist. I just don't see Xavi seeing that Koundé is a real threat to Cancelo's position, even though it should be. I think that Koundé should be the main right back for Barcelona, but whatever, right? It is clear that Deco and Xavi see a problem, and that is them needing new left backs and new right backs to reinforce each position. Now, many have been saying that Barcelona are going to need to invest heavily to reinforce those 2 positions, but I think that the answers is in the club's hands, meaning that the players that they do need to reinforce those 2 positions are already considered as Barcelona players, and that is Julian Araujo and Alex Valle, two players who are on loan. One is at Las Palmas and the other is at Levante, and they have been playing exceptional. And this is why I do think that Barcelona will invest a lot in the CDM position where Busquets does play. This is why I do say that Barcelona can go for Joshua Kimmich, maybe if they want Zubimendi as plan C or plan D, whoever it may be. I just feel like Barcelona are going to invest around 75 to 80 million euros on that position alone because they will be able to find the other reinforcements, which are loanees. Now, side note, I know that I am going to be getting a little off topic on this, but I want to speak about Alphonso Davies really quick. I think that Barcelona should attempt to sign Davies in the summer of 2024 because I also see the player showing interest that he does want to play as a left winger, and so the fact that we can have Alphonso Davies playing as either a left winger or a left back, it's just something that would blow my mind because I think that it would cover both our positions that do need reinforcements, the left back position and also the left wing position if Joao Felix is not attainable. And maybe Ansu Fati does stay at Brighton, and then we have Leao that cannot move to a different club because AC Milan does not allow him to leave anywhere. Alphonso Davies is a really good alternative, and keep in mind that the agent of Alphonso Davies is looking for buyers. Like if you go search it up right now, like go on Google and search up exactly what the agent has said about Alphonso Davies' situation, and everything does seem like he's not going to be renewing with the club and that he's looking for buyers, that there's other clubs in Europe that are interested in his services. And so I think that Barcelona should definitely get on the race if they have the financial capability. And I see that he is worth around 70 million euros according to the transfer market, and I think that by the summer of 2024 many clubs and even Barcelona can negotiate a deal for around 60 to 65 million euros, and that's a steal. Like if we spend that amount of money for Alphonso Davies, who's 22 years old, that's a steal because we know his ceiling, we know what he could be in the future. And so if that does end up being a possibility, I would just say, okay, scratch the whole thing about signing Kimmich and any of these like high-priced CDMs, and we just get Moscardo from Corinthians, and then we get Alphonso Davies, and that is where all of our eggs are going to go, which is going to be on that basket, which is, in other words, Alphonso Davies. Keep in mind that Davies also wanted FC Barcelona before, back in 2018 or 2019, but the reason why Davies is not a Barcelona player today is because Bartomeu said, we don't want the player because he is Canadian. So I will be talking about Alphonso Davies in a separate video because I don't really want to focus on this player alone in this video. So it'll be in a whole other different conversation, a different video. And so let's continue to talk about Alex Valle. And so it does say here, and I quote, according to Mundo Deportivo, Xavi is very well aware of Alex Valle, who is 19 years old and a left back, who has been playing at a high level for Levante in the second division. Context: he traveled with Barcelona to USA for the preseason tour, but the club preferred for him to go on loan and grow elsewhere. He started all 9 matches for Levante and their coaches are delighted with him. With Valde already in the squad and Marcos Alonso free in 2024, Alex Valle could be a home solution next summer. So to me, I think that it's a good idea to bring Alex Valle back to the club, regardless if we sign another left back in the future. It's a good idea because I hate the fact that we have Alejandro Valde by himself and he has no competition. It leaves me very, very annoyed because I don't want to see Valde being so relaxed on that side just because he knows that there is no other player in the squad that can take his position. I think that is one of the reasons why he has not been performing as well, is because I just feel like he looks too relaxed. You better bet that if he knew that he had someone like Alex Valle or Alphonso Davies behind him ready to take his spot, he would be performing at a much higher tempo. So Alex Valle is a very different profile to Alejandro Valde. He likes to play inside more than out wide compared to Alejandro Valde, and he's much more defensive, and especially positionally. Like if we look at the heat maps between Valde and Alex Valle, you can see that Alex Valle, who is on the left, he catches the ball much more centrally compared to Alejandro Valde, and you can see that there is a lot more red on his side compared to Alejandro Valde because Valde sits much more higher up the pitch. So in a way, you can see that Alex Valle sometimes performs as a left center back, very similar to Mikhail Faye. And so I hope that if he does return in the summer, he starts off big, like he brings out great defensive performances. Maybe we can see him transform into a player like Zinchenko from Arsenal, which I think would be very interesting, and I hope that he gets a very similar debut to like Fermin Lopez. Fermin Lopez was seen as a player that was not going to make it at Barcelona because he went to Linares. He was never going to make it back from that loan, but then he came back and he scored a goal against Real Madrid. And I hope that Alex Valle comes out in a very similar fashion, like he brings out a great defensive masterclass against any team that we do play in the summer. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.